2013 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Eric Fisher, tackle, Central Michigan. Second pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Luke Joeckel. The third pick to the Miami Dolphins.
Of the 2013 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Ezekiel Ansah.
Imagine a draft so bad, entire NFL teams erased it from their rosters. This really happened in the 2013 NFL Draft. 4 years later, 8 teams had 0 players left from that class. Something went terribly wrong that year. An entire year's worth of top college talent disappeared into thin air. We're looking into the mystery of the vanishing draft class that changed how teams scout players. In 2013, NFL teams were so desperate for a quarterback, they made E.J. Manuel the first one off the board. It didn't get better from there. Manuel went 16th overall to the Buffalo Bills, but his career never really took off. He started just 17 games over 4 years with the Bills, throwing 19 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Not exactly the numbers you want from your franchise quarterback. The other quarterbacks in this class didn't fare much better. Geno Smith, picked in the second round by the Jets, had a rocky start and ended up bouncing around the league as a backup until he found a home in Seattle. Mike Glennon, taken in the third round by the Buccaneers, showed some promise early but couldn't hold on to a starting job. Then you've got guys like Matt Barkley and Landry Jones who barely made a blip on the NFL radar. The stats paint a pretty grim picture of this quarterback class. In their first 5 years in the league, the quarterbacks from the 2013 draft combined for just 149 touchdown passes. Compare that to the 2012 class, led by Andrew Luck and Russell Wilson, who threw for 427 touchdowns in the same time span. Even the much maligned 2007 quarterback class managed 190 touchdowns in their first 5 years. So what happened? How did all these teams miss so badly on evaluating quarterbacks? Well, it's not like there weren't warning signs. A lot of scouts said before the draft that it was a weak year for quarterbacks. But NFL teams are always looking for that next great passer, and sometimes that desperation leads to reaching for players who just aren't ready for the big time. The quarterback disaster was just the beginning of this draft's problems. When you can't find a single reliable starter at the most important position in football, you know you're in for a rough time. And as we'll see, the troubles with the 2013 draft class went way beyond just the signal callers. The 2013 NFL draft was a disaster, especially at quarterback. Remember how excited fans get on draft day? Well, for these teams, that excitement turned sour real quick. Let's look at the top 10 picks and see how things went wrong. When a team uses a top 10 pick, they're expecting a star. But in 2013, those dreams crumbled fast. 5 of the top 10 picks had their 5th-year options declined. Eric Fisher, the first overall pick, had a solid career. He made 2 Pro Bowls and won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. But for a number 1 pick? It's like ordering a steak and getting a decent hamburger. Not bad, but not what you paid for. The second pick, Luke Joeckel, was a whole different story. The Jaguars thought they were getting a franchise left tackle. Instead, they got a guy who couldn't even keep his starting job. He was out of the league by 2017. Dion Jordan, picked 3rd by the Dolphins, might be the biggest bust of them all. His career was derailed by a mix of injuries, substance abuse issues, and suspensions, resulting in just 5 career starts. The top 10 did have a bright spot with Lane Johnson, the 4th pick. 4-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ with the Eagles. He's what teams dream about when they make a top pick. Ezekiel Ansah, picked 5th, started hot but cooled off fast. He made the Pro Bowl in 2015, but injuries turned him from a star to a journeyman. The next few picks is not pretty. Barkevious Mingo, Jonathan Cooper, Tavon Austin, none of them lived up to the hype. Cooper's career was derailed by injuries from the start. Austin was supposed to be a game-changing playmaker, but his best season saw him get just 509 receiving yards. D. Milliner and Chance Warmack round out the top 10. Milliner was out of the league by 2015, thanks to injuries and poor play. Warmack stuck around longer, but replacement level isn't what you want from a top 10 pick. When all was said and done, only Lane Johnson and Ezekiel Ansah made the Pro Bowl out of these top 10 picks. That's the kind of success rate that would worry most GMs. But even as teams moved out of the top 10, their luck didn't improve much. The 2013 draft class seemed cursed from top to bottom. Let's see if anyone managed to find a diamond in this rough draft. As the first round of the 2013 NFL Draft wrapped up, a few teams managed to snag some serious talent. The Houston Texans picked DeAndre Hopkins 27th overall, and that turned out to be a steal. Hopkins quickly became one of the best receivers in the NFL. His hands are like glue, and he runs routes so crisp you could cut paper with him. In his 8 seasons with the Texans, Hopkins racked up over 8,600 receiving yards and 54 touchdowns. The Minnesota Vikings grabbed Xavier Rhodes with the 25th pick. Rhodes turned into a shutdown corner, making the Pro Bowl in 2017 and 2019. He even earned first-team All-Pro honors in 2017. When he was at his best, Rhodes could take the other team's top receiver out of the game completely. The Dallas Cowboys also found gold late in the first round, picking Travis Frederick 31st overall. Frederick became a rock-solid center for the Cowboys, starting every single game in his first 5 seasons. He made it to 3 Pro Bowls and was named first-team All-Pro in 2016. But these success stories weren't without challenges. Hopkins dealt with a revolving door of mediocre quarterbacks in Houston. Rhodes battled injuries later in his career. Frederick missed the entire 2018 season due to an illness. When you look at the whole 2013 draft class, these guys stand out. Hopkins, Rhodes, and Frederick all outperformed many of the players taken before them. It shows that finding talent in the draft isn't always about picking early. As bad as the first round was overall, some teams did find real talent in the later rounds, but even those picks came with their own set of challenges and unexpected twists. While most teams struck out in the first round of the 2013 NFL Draft, a few hit home runs later on. NFL teams often find valuable players in the later rounds, like panning for gold. Some of the best players that year weren't taken until the second day or later, outshining the early picks. Take Le'Veon Bell, grabbed by the Steelers in the second round, 48th overall. Bell quickly became one of the best running backs in the NFL. He racked up over 7,000 rushing yards and 42 touchdowns on the ground, plus more than 3,000 yards and 10 touchdowns through the air. Bell made the Pro Bowl and earned All-Pro honors. Travis Kelce, drafted by the Chiefs in the 3rd round, became one of the NFL's premier tight ends, known for his size, speed, and route running. A multiple-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion, his chemistry with Patrick Mahomes and leadership both on and off the field have solidified his legendary status. Tyrann Mathieu, picked by the Cardinals in the 3rd round, turned things around after some off-field issues in college. He became one of the best safeties in the league, making multiple Pro Bowls and winning a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Mathieu's versatility made him a nightmare for opposing offenses. The Chargers snagged Keenan Allen in the 3rd round, and that really paid off. Allen's put up over 7,000 receiving yards and 40 touchdowns in his career. He's known for his route running skills and consistently ranks among the top receivers in the league. These success stories weren't without challenges. Bell got into serious contract disputes with the Steelers, even sitting out the entire 2018 season. Mathieu had to overcome the stigma of his college issues. Allen fought through injuries early in his career to become a star. Looking back on the 2013 draft, it's clear that finding NFL talent isn't an exact science. Some early picks disappointed, while these later selections became stars. It just goes to show how unpredictable the draft can be, with players' careers taking unexpected turns along the way. The 2013 NFL Draft changed how teams approach player selection. It highlighted the challenges in predicting which players will succeed in the pros. Some highly touted prospects didn't pan out, while overlooked players became stars. This experience made teams more cautious in their draft strategies. Now teams are more thorough in their evaluations. They're less likely to make exceptions for players with medical issues or character concerns. Teams also focus more on how a player fits into their specific system rather than just raw talent. They want players who can contribute right away and fit their team culture. The impact of the 2013 draft is still felt today. It serves as a reminder that potential doesn't always translate to NFL success. Teams now put more emphasis on a player's overall package: skills, character, and system fit. This approach has made the draft process more complex, but also more effective in finding players who can make a real difference on the field. To stay updated with our latest content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.